One of the biggest questions surrounding the latest assassination attempt is how would the would-be assassin, how was he allowed to get onto Donald Trump's golf course undetected? RealClearPolitics national political correspondent Susan Crabtree recently asked that very question as a post on X, and she joins us now. So, Susan, thanks so much for your time. So, what should the Secret Service have done better on Sunday?
Oh, where do we start? So when President Biden golfs in Wilmington, I'm told by sources in the Secret Service community that they shut down the golf course. The perimeter is secured and monitored by Secret Service agents, and all of the roads around it are shut down. So compare that to what we saw on Sunday, and it's completely different. It's interesting that this car, the assailant's car, alleged assailant, was parked somewhere in the parking lot or along the road, and nobody noticed that occurred. Also, I've been screaming this from the mountaintops on X and elsewhere. There were no drones in the sky that day. I have that confirmed today. Drones can do a lot of things in terms of surveil a golf course. That's a very big open air area. Why wasn't there a drone there? I'm actually told that local law enforcement got offered the drone after the incident and they used it. Is this mind blowing? Ron Routh a month ago had a all hands pep talk to the Secret Service. He mandatory all hands, every employee in the Secret Service. He promised them technological advances. He promised them that he would make sure that they were pushing forward with that to reverse a trend in the Secret Service. The big joke in the Secret Service is yesterday's technology tomorrow. We always mess it up with our technology. We're not embracing the advancements. He promised them that would change, and we saw on Sunday that it didn't change.
Susan, you said that actually you had heard that it had been reported to you inside the Secret Service, the higher ups had said they weren't needed. The drones weren't needed, which is mind blowing after Pennsylvania. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And for people listening, the drone would have detected the thermal heat. We had Steve Baker and others talking about this yesterday. It's under $3,000. You can buy one. I think it's in the $2,000 range. You could have a drone that is heat seeking. You would know that there's someone there. I want to go to the why. I mean, what are the reasons you've heard for these failures in this case?
Well, in terms of the drones, there's just this entrenched belief in the Secret Service community, and even I have older sources in the Secret Service community that believe that they really should be using manpower instead of technology when it comes to that. That technology cannot replace manpower. But my response to that is why not have both if you can? The people inside the Secret Service community have been pushing for this since 2016. I have been covering the Secret Service for 12 years, and this was an issue in 2016 that I covered, and now here we are. And we've had 2 assassination attempts within 2 months. So the rationale, when the source told me today that there was an internal discussion and a person in leadership said, we didn't need it on Sunday. Well, then why did you use it after the fact? Why did you borrow it from local law enforcement after the fact? So that you can make sure that there were no other assailants, so you could see where Ryan Routh was going. I mean, it makes no sense. They were covering for themselves, and the Secret Service should not be taking a victory lap. Yesterday was a joke. That conference you could tell that Ron Routh was being defensive because he's yelling. He was sort of yelling, and we did a great job. It was textbook. No, my sources in the Secret Service community are highly critical of each other. The heroes that day were the special agent that saw the barrel pointing out of the brush. He is a hero, and the witness who who actually saw the guy fleeing and then got into his car and took down the license plate. Those are the heroes, not the leadership didn't do a sweep of the perimeter. They always did a sweep of the perimeter when Joe Biden golfed. And then now he's saying, well, Ron Routh said, well, this is an OTR. That means off the record, that it wasn't on the schedule. So we really don't plan for those things, and we shouldn't be doing a perimeter sweep. Well, I'm told specifically that if Biden goes golfing, there is a perimeter sweep, and you can do that with canines. So this is not a win for the Secret Service. This is absolutely a failure. And there were two heroes that day, and it was narrow escape. Once again, a narrow escape. If it were not for those two people, the assailant would be at large, and who knows would have happened with Ryan Routh with that gun aiming toward the president.
Susan, you bring up a great point. I wanted to ask you, why would Ronald Rowe go out there, and he essentially is blaming Donald Trump for an off-the-record, an OTR event. So how does this align with the person who is at the now acting head of the top of the Secret Service, trying to keep the asset safe? How are you blaming him now at this point in time?
Well, I really, truly hope that he was misspeaking, that he was sort of saying, oh, that's an off the record, meaning, well, he decided to go to the golf course. OK, Trump has some leeway in what he does, but you cannot treat these golf course outings as off the records anymore. Post J13, it is not normal situation as normal. Everything, you have to reevaluate everything. There needs, as I wrote yesterday in a story on RealClearPolitics, there has to be a reckoning with the Secret Service. I hope it happened yesterday in his meeting between Donald Trump and Ron Routh. I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that meeting, because things need to change. You need to come to grips with, can you protect me on a golf course? Can I go golfing? Because why didn't you sweep it? Why didn't you sweep the perimeter? You would have found him. Why didn't you use drones? I hope they're having those discussions, because he needs to know if there's this off the record, which, it's like when Biden goes to get an ice cream or goes to the Waffle House the day after his debate with Jill Biden. That was an off the record. It means it's not on the public schedule. So we're kind of going to ad lib it as we go along. But we know that President Trump golfs usually on the weekends, and he golfs at this golf course. He owns it. So you lose the element of surprise if you say, oh, it's an off the record, so we're not going to man up for this. We're not going to plan for this. We're not going to sweep the perimeter. There's no excuse for it after July 13th. There's just none.
Susan, the big question, one of the big questions on everyone's mind is how this guy knows that Trump is going to be at the golf course. Now, Trump does golf there frequently. It could be the case that this is how he spent every Sunday night, Saturday to Sunday, camping out for 12 hours. But what have you heard inside the Secret Service community? Because I would like to hear more official answers to this, at least speculation, like these are the options, because clearly there is reason to think that this information might have been leaked in some way.
Right. And so I will go with I will clearly delineate between what I know and speculation. Okay. Because I don't like to get in. I like everything to be evidence-based. But at this point, we need some speculation, as long as it's informed speculation. So I will say that, obviously he golfs there a lot. The guy could have been hiding out. He could have talked to a bartender at the clubhouse. Or it could have gotten out word on the street, which is normal. Oh, the president's playing golf today. Okay, that's one school of thought, right? The more sinister and speculative school of thought, and I have reported on this on some things about this, and I might be able to, I just say, stay tuned more on this story. But what I have reported is that I talked to a former Obama senior intelligence official who told me that their Iranian assets have penetrated some of our protective services agencies. And they wouldn't specify, but they said diplomatic security services, Secret Service, and air marshals. and I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, but the Iranians are not playing around here. They want to kill Donald Trump. They want to kill John Bolton, his whole national security team that made the decision to go after General Soleimani and kill him in Baghdad in early 2020. So we know that for a fact. We know that Iranians have compromised other people in the Biden administration, including Rob Malley, the Iran envoy, either wittingly or unwittingly. I always put that in there. Who knows if they intended to be? They knew they were being compromised at the time, but Mr. O'Malley is no longer working. I believe he's on admin leave still. So there's a Semaphore article that goes into this in great detail. I would say read that, and also read my article that says, is Iranian spying hurting our efforts to protect Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and others? I think there's something to this. The Secret Service is not being diligent about how they are hiring and admitting their applicants. I have, in that article about Iranian spying, I have confirmed that they gave an individual, and I believe it's Pakistani, by heritage, citizen, U.S. citizen. They polygraphed this person. The person failed the polygraph, okay, on terrorism-related issues. The terrorist section, they failed, and they pushed them through. And this person is currently working at the Secret Service. I am getting the name of that person. I'm not saying that this person has anything to do with it, but it's concerning that they're allowing someone who failed the terrorist section on the polygraph to work for the Secret Service.